It's not regular belly fat. I knew that the moment it appeared. This was different, harder somehow, sitting right below my belly button, like it had been glued there overnight. I'd been slim my whole life, never had to think about my weight. Then menopause hit, and suddenly I had this hormonal belly that didn't respond to anything I threw at it. Salads, walking, cutting portions, more walking, less sugar, even more walking. Nothing worked. The scale might dip a pound or two, but that belly stayed exactly where it was. My friend suggested I just wasn't trying hard enough. That stung more than she knew. I was walking 8,000 steps a day. I was trying plenty hard, but it felt like pushing against a locked door. Then I learned what was actually happening inside my body. With estrogen dropping, my body had literally changed where it stores fat, and my insulin, my cortisol, my metabolism had all shifted too. It's called the hormonal triple whammy, and it makes traditional exercise advice basically useless. The way we've been taught to walk and exercise can actually make hormonal belly fat worse. Our bodies read intense exercise as stress, and stressed bodies in menopause store fat around the middle. It's a protection mechanism that backfires on us. These walking hacks work specifically with your hormonal reality. They're designed for a body in flux, not a body that works the way it used to. This isn't about willpower. It never was. It's about hormones, and there's a smarter way forward.
When I hit menopause at 52, I stopped sleeping. 3 months of less than 3 hours a night. I gained 18 pounds in weeks. And here's the irony that still makes me shake my head. I was a sleep technician. I had spent 15 years studying sleep in a clinic, helping other people, and then menopause came and took mine away. But that devastating experience taught me something that changed everything I understood about hormonal belly fat. The connection isn't just about what you eat or how you exercise. It's about when and how you move in relation to your sleep and your circadian rhythm. Today, I'm sharing 5 walking hacks specifically designed for hormonal belly fat. These work with your body's natural rhythms, support your sleep, and target the hormonal imbalances that make menopausal weight so stubborn. I call them easy mode because they don't require extreme effort. They require strategic timing. If you have that hormonal belly fat that appeared with menopause, that hard, stubborn fat around your middle that seems to have a mind of its own, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand the connection between your hormones, your sleep, and your weight. And you'll have 5 practical hacks to start using tomorrow. Let me tell you more about my story, because it explains why I approach this topic differently. I worked in a sleep clinic for 15 years. I ran polysomnography tests. I watched brain waves and breathing patterns all night long. I saw hundreds of women come through our doors, many of them in menopause, all of them struggling with sleep. What I noticed again and again was that the women with the worst sleep always seemed to have the most stubborn belly fat. Their doctors would tell them to diet, to exercise more. But I could see from their sleep studies that their bodies were in a state of hormonal chaos. They weren't lazy or eating too much. Their systems were dysregulated. Then at 52, I became one of them. Menopause arrived, and suddenly I couldn't sleep. I would lie there at 3 a.m., heart racing, hot flash after hot flash, my mind spinning. Some nights I got 2 hours. Some nights I got nothing. The weight gain was shocking. 18 pounds in just a few weeks, mostly around my middle. I was eating the same, exercising the same. But without sleep, my hormones went haywire, and my body started storing fat like it was preparing for famine. The worst part was the irony. Here I was, a sleep professional, and I couldn't sleep. I knew exactly what was happening in my brain, what hormones were misfiring, what systems were failing, and I still couldn't fix it. Eventually, I did find my way out. Through research, through trial and error, through understanding the deep connection between sleep, hormones, and metabolism. What I learned transformed not just my sleep, but my weight and my understanding of how to exercise effectively in menopause. And one of the biggest revelations was about walking. not just any walking. Strategic walking that supports your hormonal rhythms instead of disrupting them. Let me explain the science of hormonal belly fat and why it's so connected to sleep and circadian rhythm. When you enter menopause, estrogen drops significantly. This triggers a cascade of hormonal changes that affect everything, including how and where you store fat. First, without estrogen's protective effects, fat storage shifts from your hips and thighs to your belly. This isn't aesthetic preference, it's metabolic. Belly fat, especially the deep visceral fat, is hormonally active and interacts with your other hormones. Second, your cortisol regulation changes. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and after menopause, your body becomes more sensitive to it. High cortisol levels directly trigger belly fat storage. It's a survival mechanism. Your body thinks you're in danger, so it stores energy near your vital organs. Third, and this is where my expertise comes in, menopausal hormone changes dramatically affect your sleep architecture. You spend less time in deep restorative sleep, the phase where growth hormone is released and fat burning is optimized. Poor sleep elevates cortisol further, creating a vicious cycle. A study from the University of Chicago found that sleep deprivation for just 4 nights reduced insulin sensitivity by 30%. Another study found that women who slept less than 5 hours per night were significantly more likely to gain weight, particularly around the middle. So hormonal belly fat isn't just about estrogen. It's about the entire interconnected system of hormones, sleep, stress, and metabolism. Here's where walking comes in. Exercise can either support this system or disrupt it. Intense exercise at the wrong time can spike cortisol and worsen sleep. But strategic walking at the right times can lower cortisol, support circadian rhythm, and optimize your hormonal environment for fat burning. These 5 hacks are designed specifically for hormonal belly fat. They consider timing, intensity, and the unique challenges of menopausal physiology. Hack number 1. The morning light walk. This is one of the most powerful hacks for hormonal belly fat, and it's about much more than exercise. Walking outside in morning light within the first hour of waking does something remarkable for your hormones. It resets your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates everything from cortisol to melatonin to growth hormone. Here's the science. Morning light exposure signals your brain that the day has begun. This triggers a natural cortisol spike, which is supposed to happen in the morning. It also starts the timer for melatonin release 14 to 16 hours later, setting you up for better sleep that night. When your circadian rhythm is properly calibrated, cortisol follows its natural curve, high in the morning, low at night. When it's disrupted, cortisol stays elevated throughout the day and into the night, promoting belly fat storage and disrupting sleep. A study from Northwestern University found that people who got the majority of their light exposure early in the day had significantly lower BMIs than those who got light exposure later. The timing of light was more important than the total amount. The hack is this: walk outside within the first hour of waking, ideally for 15 to 30 minutes. The walk doesn't need to be intense. You're not trying to burn calories with this walk. You're calibrating your hormonal system. Don't wear sunglasses during this walk. Your eyes need to receive the light signal. Even on cloudy days, outdoor light is far brighter than indoor light and still provides the circadian signal. When I started doing this consistently, my sleep improved within a week. And as my sleep improved, my belly fat started to shift. The morning light walk was the foundation that made everything else work. If you can combine this with fasted walking, meaning before breakfast, you get a double benefit. Morning light calibrates your hormones while fasted movement optimizes fat burning when insulin is naturally low. Hack number 2. The cortisol-lowering walk. This hack is specifically designed to reduce cortisol and break the cycle of stress-driven belly fat storage. Research shows that moderate walking in natural environments significantly reduces cortisol levels. A study from Chiba University in Japan found that walking in nature lowered cortisol by 16%, compared to walking in urban environments. This effect was nicknamed forest bathing and has been extensively studied. But you don't need a forest. Any green space, any natural setting provides benefit. The key is the combination of gentle movement, natural surroundings, and a specific breathing technique. The hack works like this. Take a 20 to 30-minute walk in the most natural setting available to you. A park, a tree-lined street, a garden. During this walk, practice nasal breathing exclusively. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. Nasal breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. It signals safety to your body. Combined with natural surroundings and gentle movement, this creates a powerful cortisol-lowering effect. Here's an important detail. This walk should feel easy. If you're pushing yourself, if you're breathing hard, if it feels like a workout, you're defeating the purpose. Intensity spikes cortisol. The goal is the opposite. Think of this as a cortisol cleanse. You're not burning calories. You're lowering the stress hormone that's telling your body to store belly fat. When I was recovering from my sleep crisis, this type of walk was essential. I did it in the late afternoon, around 4 or 5 p.m., when cortisol naturally starts to decline. It became my transition ritual from the stress of the day to the calmness of evening. And it made a meaningful difference in both my sleep and my waistline. Hack number 3. The post-dinner walk. This hack targets blood sugar, which is intimately connected to hormonal belly fat. After eating, blood sugar rises. Your body releases insulin to bring it back down. In women with insulin resistance, which becomes more common after menopause, this process is slow and inefficient. Blood sugar stays elevated, insulin stays elevated, and more glucose gets converted to fat, particularly around the belly. Walking after eating changes this. Your contracting muscles pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream, reducing the spike without requiring as much insulin. A study from the University of Otago found that walking for just 10 minutes after a meal reduced blood sugar spikes by up to 22%. Other research, specifically looking at postmenopausal women, found even more pronounced effects due to their higher rates of insulin resistance. But here's why this hack is especially important for hormonal belly fat. Blood sugar spikes before bed disrupt sleep. They cause more nighttime awakenings, reduce time in deep sleep, and worsen hot flashes. By walking after dinner, you're not just preventing fat storage, you're supporting better sleep, which further supports hormonal balance. The hack is this. After dinner, take a 10 to 15-minute walk. It should be gentle, not exercise. A leisurely stroll. You're supporting digestion and blood sugar, not burning calories. I do this every night now. Right after dinner, before I sit down to relax, I walk around my neighborhood for 15 minutes. It's become one of my favorite routines. My digestion is better, my sleep is better, and the gradual transition from dinner to evening feels natural. On nights when weather keeps me inside, I just walk around my house. The movement is what matters. Hack number 4. The Zone 2 heart rate walk. For specifically burning hormonal belly fat, the intensity of your walk matters more than you might think. Exercise intensity is measured in heart rate zones. Zone 1 is very light. Zone 2 is moderate, where you can talk but not sing. Zone 3 and above is harder cardio. For targeting belly fat, Zone 2 is optimal. In this zone, your body primarily burns fat for fuel. When you push into higher zones, your body switches to burning carbohydrates. But there's another reason Zone 2 is specifically important for hormonal belly fat. Higher intensity exercise spikes cortisol. Zone 2 keeps cortisol relatively stable while still providing metabolic benefits. For women dealing with hormonal imbalances, this matters enormously. Research from the American College of Sports Medicine confirms that moderate intensity exercise in Zone 2 results in proportionally more fat oxidation than higher intensity exercise. To find your Zone 2, subtract your age from 180. For a 55-year-old woman like me, that's about 125 beats per minute. You want to stay at or below this number. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, use the talk test. If you can carry on a comfortable conversation but couldn't sing a song, you're in zone 2. When I started monitoring my heart rate during walks, I realized I had been pushing too hard. I thought more effort meant better results, but I was constantly in zone 3, spiking cortisol, and my hormonal belly fat wasn't budging. Now, I walk slower on purpose. It feels almost too easy sometimes, but my results improved dramatically when I stopped treating walking like a workout and started treating it like hormonal support. Hack number 5. The evening wind down walk. This final hack is designed specifically to support sleep, which is foundational to hormonal balance and belly fat reduction. Taking a gentle walk in the evening, after dinner but before you start your bedtime routine, helps transition your body from daytime to nighttime mode. Here's the science. Light exposure decreases as evening approaches, which signals your body to start producing melatonin. Gentle movement helps process the stress hormones accumulated during the day. The combination of decreasing light, gentle movement, and cooler evening temperatures sends signals that prepare your body for sleep. A study in the journal Sleep Medicine found that regular evening walkers reported better sleep quality than non-walkers. Another study found that moderate evening exercise improved sleep onset, meaning people fell asleep faster. The hack works like this. About 2 to 3 hours before your intended bedtime, take a 15 to 20-minute walk. This should be very gentle. You're not exercising, you're transitioning. If possible, avoid bright screens during this walk. Let your body experience the natural decrease in light as evening progresses. When I was recovering from my insomnia, this evening walk was part of my sleep protocol. Combined with the morning light walk, it helped recalibrate my circadian rhythm. The morning told my body when to wake up. The evening told it when to wind down. A word of caution: don't walk too close to bedtime. Exercise raises core body temperature, and your body needs to cool down to sleep well. 2 to 3 hours before bed gives you time to cool and relax. I want to be honest with you about something. For some women, especially those with severe hormonal imbalances or significant sleep disruption, these walking hacks may take time to show results. The hormonal system needs to stabilize. Sleep needs to improve. It's a process, not a quick fix. That's why many women in our community have been using a concentrated compound that supports nighttime metabolism without disrupting sleep. It contains natural thermogenic ingredients like Seville orange peel and Himalayan ginger that work gently through the night. It's specifically designed to support the night shift your body runs, the metabolic processes that happen during sleep. What makes it different from other supplements is that it doesn't contain harsh stimulants that would interfere with sleep. That's essential. Your sleep is foundational. Anything that disrupts it will ultimately make hormonal belly fat worse. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment if you want to learn more. But whether you try it or not, these 5 walking hacks will help support your hormonal balance. Let me share some real examples. A woman in our community, Rebecca, she's 54, had terrible sleep and stubborn belly fat. She was waking up multiple times every night, often at 3 a.m., and her midsection had expanded despite dieting. She started with just 2 of these hacks, the morning light walk and the post-dinner walk. She was consistent, doing them every day for 8 weeks. Her sleep improved first. She started sleeping through the night more often. Then, about 6 weeks in, she noticed her clothes fitting differently. By 3 months, she had lost 2 inches from her waist. Not from extreme dieting or intense exercise, from supporting her hormonal rhythms with strategic walking. Another woman, Angela, 57, had been an insomniac for years. She had tried everything. She started the full protocol: morning light walk, afternoon cortisol, lowering walk in the park, post-dinner walk, and evening wind down walk. It seemed like a lot at first, but each walk was gentle and short. The total was maybe an hour of walking spread throughout the day. Not exercise, really. More like structured movement. After 2 months, her sleep had improved dramatically. She was waking up rested for the first time in years. And the hormonal belly fat that had seemed permanent started to soften and reduce. These aren't dramatic overnight transformations. They're gradual improvements that come from supporting your body's natural systems. Let me address some common mistakes. The first mistake is walking too intensely. If your walks feel like workouts, you're likely spiking cortisol and working against your hormonal balance. Easy mode means actually easy. The second mistake is inconsistent timing. Your circadian rhythm responds to consistent signals. Walking at random times doesn't provide the same hormonal benefits as walking at the same times each day. The third mistake is ignoring sleep. If you're not addressing your sleep, walking hacks alone won't solve hormonal belly fat. Sleep is foundational. These walks support sleep, but they're not a replacement for good sleep hygiene. The fourth mistake is expecting immediate results. Hormonal rebalancing takes time. Give these hacks at least 8 to 12 weeks before judging their effectiveness. For those who need additional support, I want to mention again the nighttime formula I talked about. The compound with Seville orange peel and Himalayan ginger supports thermogenesis gently while you sleep. It's designed to work with your body's nighttime metabolic processes, not against them. No stimulants, no sleep disruption. It's not for everyone. But for women whose hormonal belly fat is particularly stubborn, it can provide meaningful support alongside these walking strategies. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment. Let me summarize what we covered today. Hack 1. The morning light walk. Walk outside within the first hour of waking to calibrate your circadian rhythm. Hack 2. The cortisol-lowering walk. Walk in natural settings with nasal breathing to actively reduce stress hormones. Hack 3. The post-dinner walk. Walk 10 to 15 minutes after eating to stabilize blood sugar and support sleep. Hack 4. Zone 2, heart rate walk. Keep intensity low to burn fat without spiking cortisol. Hack 5. The evening wind-down walk. Walk 2 to 3 hours before bed to transition into nighttime mode. Together, these hacks create a framework that supports your hormonal balance throughout the day. Here's what I want you to remember. Hormonal belly fat isn't just about what you eat or how hard you exercise. It's about the entire system: hormones, sleep, stress, and circadian rhythm all working together. When I stopped sleeping, I saw this connection from the inside. I experienced how quickly the system falls apart and how the weight piles on when your hormones are dysregulated. But I also saw how it can come back into balance with the right approach. Your body wants to be balanced. Your hormones want to function properly. Your metabolism wants to work. Sometimes it just needs the right signals at the right times. These walking hacks aren't about burning calories. They're about sending the right signals to your hormonal system. When you get that right, everything else falls into place. Try one of these hacks tomorrow. Start with the morning light walk if you can. Notice how it affects your energy and your sleep. If this video helped you, leave a comment and tell me which hack resonates most with you. I read every comment. In my next video, I'll share more about optimizing sleep for weight loss and how your nighttime metabolic processes can be supported for better fat burning. Until then, take care of your sleep. Everything else depends on it. I'll see you in the next one.